Autism prevalence among children and young 5-70 years of age in Canada. An estimating 1 in 66 had been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, ASD. Males were identified with ASD 4 times more frequently than females. 1 in 42 males were diagnosed with ASD. 1 in 165 females were diagnosed with ASD. Asperger's syndrome is an autism spectrum disorder, ASD, considered to be on the high-functioning end of the spectrum. Luc Martel, Mohawk College journalist student.
Hello, my name is Luc Martel. I have zero relation to Picard, Captain Enterprise, although I'd like to tell people I do. I am 29 years old and good looking.
What is your disability? At what age were you diagnosed?
Well, that's where it gets tricky right off the bat because I have been diagnosed with pretty much everything under the sun before I got the Asperger's diagnosis. So I got the Asperger's diagnosis roughly pretty late compared to a lot of the stories I've heard. I was around, I don't know exactly anymore, but it was around 14, 15, it's maybe 17, around that kind of ballpark area. Asperger's is essentially, it's a form of autism that's a lot less visible.
Okay.
Which is one of the big problems, because most people assume that I've just got seem to just assume right off the bat that I've got an attitude, or that I'm just a loud, obnoxious guy, or and they just judge me. They don't even ask me. I don't know, because one of the things with Asperger's is that it makes it a lot harder for you to pick up on the subtle cues. Essentially, unless somebody's looking like me right in the eyes, I won't notice subtle stuff. So I have a habit of, for example, taking over conversations without realizing it, going on, well, quite frankly, sometimes a monologue worthy of a supervillain, which, not as funny as it sounds. And most of the time when I do these things, my voice gets loud.
What do you do study? Why did you choose that major?
I am currently studying journalism at Mohawk College, the federal campus. And the reason I chose it was because about two-ish years ago, I met this amazing person called Ken Stone. Seriously, look this guy up. Ken Stone, Hamilton Coalition, Stop the War. He has been a human rights activist for the last 50 years, and he is hands down, aside from my mother, one of the most amazing people I've ever met.
Have you ever worked before? If the answer is yes, in what? For how long?
I have got very minimal. I had one small job, literally just one day, or help a guy clear out his unfinished basement, and that was a really long time ago, and it is unfortunate but fair to say that the employment market around here is about as unfair as you can get.
Could you explain your relationship with employer and co-workers?
The closest I did have one co-op there's a co-op at Fortino's, which I actually liked until I didn't, because to be honest, the supervisor was kind of a prick. She was a very, very, very inflexible person. Everybody else there loved me. They loved me to bits because I'm a very outgoing, exuberant, enthusiastic person.
Did you know October is the National Disability Employment Awareness Month? What do you think is important?
Well, I think it's only important if people make it important. You know, I mean, unless the right amount of unless the proper emphasis and gravitas, and like, there's a situation in Ontario, especially with everybody's beloved party leader, Doug Ford, is that there is no situation for people with disabilities. Even people like me, which is ridiculous.
Are there some things you wish will improve in the work environment?
But the point is that a lot more people these days are turning to independent employment because they're sick and tired of being held to often arbitrary rules that don't seem to make any sense. I mean, anybody who's been through school knows what that's like. Why should you have to also go through it in your whole adult life and work? So that's my opinion on that. Do what, it may sound cliche, but it's true. If you're not happy at where you're working, you need to get out, because it doesn't matter how much they're paying you. Nothing can replace being satisfied with what you are doing. There's no price tag you can put on that.
What do you think about the national disability system?
That's a thing, and also, as I'm sure many people have already know, the Canadian mental health care system is awful. There really isn't much of a mental health care system. OSAP and OHIP will only pay just barely enough to let you get by every single month and have absolutely nothing left over, if you're lucky.
Invited, Luc Martel. Interview by Fernanda Jimenez. Edited by Rolando Camelo. Special thanks to the Hamilton Library.